How's it going, guys? Randall aka Shizukats here on my own channel for once, and today we're going to be looking at Choice Pants BanG Dream. With the recent release of English 5th Anniversary, we've been doing a bunch of content over on the Tresses Collectibles channel, like deck profiles and gameplay. So if you haven't already seen those, be sure to head on over there to check those out. However, I feel like a good number of you watching this video came from the Tresses Collectibles channel itself, since we uploaded a gameplay video featuring the Choice Pants build. The deck I'm going to be showing in today's deck profile is going to be the Japanese version of the deck, and as a result has a few promo cards that are missing from the English version, but I will be highlighting my preferred replacements for the missing cards towards the end of the video. Now then, let's get right into the deck profile, starting with the climax combos and the overall deck concept. At level 1, we have the new Kanon Choice combo from 5th Anniversary. She has 4k base power, but gains an additional 3k on attack if you have another yellow character. Her climax combo with Choice gives her Twin Drive, and during your opponent's next turn, she cannot be reversed. This functions similarly to climax combos that return back to the hand upon being front attacked, but without the returning to hand part. Unfortunately, this does make her weak to removal bombs, which aren't very popular these days, but are still something you will want to watch out for. However, the level 1 Kanon isn't the only component for this climax combo. Next, we have the level 0 Kanon Brainstorm. She has a very standard Rest Self-Salvage Brainstorm effect, as well as a climax combo that allows her to gain a choice trigger icon as long as the Kanon choice climax is in the climax area. This is a similar function to the level 3 Nino from Quintessential Quintuplets. By triggering this brainstorm on our combo turn, we can sometimes get some extra advantage, and then use Kanon's Twin Drive to pay out the brainstorm and try to get some more free resources on a later combo turn. Kanon also has a third ability that lets you choose a specific Hello Happy World event as a valid target when we trigger a choice. But I don't run that event in this deck, so we'll just ignore that ability. In order to maximize the chance of triggering these Kanon Brainstorms while still having copies to put on the board, I run a full 4 copies, but there's also one final piece for our level 1 package that brings it all together. The level 1 Hogami doesn't have a climax combo herself, but interacts with our other 2 pieces in a big way. On attack, if you have 2 or more other Anniversary or Hello Happy World characters, she gets 3k, and also on attack, you can shuffle 2 Anniversary or Hello Happy World characters from Waiting Room back into your deck to give one of your Anniversary or Hello Happy World characters plus 2000 power until end of turn. The 2k buff is an excellent pairing with the level 1 Kanon, as she needs to survive her attack in order to actually get any value, and the shuffle back is excellent for setting up Kanon Brainstorms in the deck so that we can trigger them and get bonus choice triggers. At level 3, I run the new Yukina finisher. On play heal, and on attack if I have 5 or less hand, climax combo with Pants, I can choose one of 2 modes. The first mode reveals the top card of the deck, and if it's an Anniversary or Roselia character, or the 1-0 Roselia event counter, burn 4. The second is at end of attack. If the character across is reversed, I can put the top card of my stock to Waiting Room and burn 2. It's basically an on-reverse burn 2, but since it checks at the end of the attack, it actually gets countered by opposing abilities that activate upon being reversed and send the opposing character to another zone, so you need to watch out for that. The idea for this deck started by looking at which cards were backwards compatible with old cards, giving us access to some of the more powerful profiles available in BanG Dream, such as the Yukina Riki. One combo that caught my eye was the Kanon package, as neither the level 1 combo nor the associated Brainstorm had anything to do with the Anniversary trait. With a combo like Kanon, a Pants Climax top end was the obvious pairing, as Kanon benefits greatly from being able to resolve her combo turn after turn. Despite the fact that the Yukina finisher is not generic, since she checks for traits, I figured that she would be safe to use since the main non-Anniversary cards that I want to run in the deck are Roselia characters, and would still work for the Yukina's top check burn 4. Now let's get into the rest of the deck list. Starting off the list, I'm running 4 copies of the Yukina Riki. This is one of the most powerful cards in BanG Dream's arsenal, not only having a Riki ability, allowing us to secure a copy of our level 1 combo or missing utility pieces, but also having that dreaded on-cancel bounce-back ability that can be extremely frustrating to play against. Sometimes this card returns to our hand for free, and we randomly get a +1, or even a +2 because bouncing back to our hand means that we can reuse the on-play Riki effect a second time. Alongside our Yukina Rikis, we have 4 Yukina JCs from the intro deck. This card is a fantastic early game option for beating up opposing characters, as well as maintaining value with her JC bounce effect. Being able to attack for 4k is absolutely massive and lets her contest pretty much any level 0 and even some level 1s. This card is also a fantastic reverse denial tool if we want to park her in the back row, and combined with the Kanon level 1 combos that already cannot be reversed, this can create setups where the opponent is unable to get reverses in any lane, which can make games unbearable for certain opposing decks. While neither of these level 0 plussing slots are good going first, the Yukina Riki can be a pretty decent turn 1 play if you open with multiple copies. Sometimes you will just randomly cancel and get the card back, but even if you don't, a second copy of Riki in your hand will give you good follow-up. Up next we have our Brainstorms. We already looked at the 4 copies of the Kanon Brainstorm earlier, but I actually run 3 more Brainstorms for a total of 7. The Toko Brainstorm is a rest self-search brainstorm for Anniversary or Morphonica, and she also has a powerful resource conversion effect. By resting herself, if I have another Anniversary or Morphonica character on stage, I can send her to stock. This is an extremely powerful option to have, especially in game states where you have more hand than you need. The reason I run 7 Brainstorms is because despite Kanon being a great brainstorm on the board herself, you do want some of them in the deck and waiting room to utilize with the other pieces of the level 1 combo line. Lastly, I run 4 one-of utility slots. First we have the Yukina level 0 PR, which has the same effect as Choo Choo from BanG Volume 2. On play, discard a card, reveal the top card of the deck, and salvage a character with equal or lower level than the revealed card. This profile offers costless discard outlet on top of salvage utility and knowledge of the top card of the deck, making it a very powerful single ability. Next up is the Akko level 0, who is our climax swapper. Her second ability is on play, you can rest an Anniversary or Roselia character to level swap. While this ability is meant to be used in Roselia decks to meet experience requirements, it isn't completely useless in this deck, allowing us to put ideal level targets into our level zone. After our Akko climax swapper is the Hagami Jinsu, which can search a yellow climax from our deck by taking 1 damage and discarding a card. You pretty much always want a copy of this card in your deck anytime you're running a yellow climax in BanG, and this deck is no exception. Worth noting is that this Hagami is the only level 0 in the deck that is neither Anniversary nor Roselia, which means that everything that checks for either of those traits will whiff on this card, but the utility is simply too powerful not to include. Our last level 0 in the list is the Kokoro, with on play pay 2 free fresh. This is a very simple yet extremely effective card, and can save you a lot of headache trying to worm your way out of a bad deck state. We've talked about the Hello Happy World side of the level 1 line already, so next let's take a look at the Roselia side, starting with the 1-0 event. This event requires an Anniversary or Roselia character on stage to play it, which is easy enough. And it's also a counter. Mill 2, add the levels of the milled cards, and salvage a level X or lower Anniversary or Roselia character. This is a fantastic card to secure additional copies of the level 1 Kanon or any missing utility pieces throughout the early game, and also serves as a nice bit of deck speed, which is especially appreciated since the Kanon level 1 combo doesn't exactly speed through the deck. This card can also be held in your hand to use defensively in case you find yourself in a situation where your deck is a bunch of clean cards and you need to mill to avoid taking a ton of damage. The 1-1 Sayo is our last level 1, and this is a very interesting card. She's a level assist to Anniversary and Roselia characters, and she has an on-climax placement effect that lets you look at the top card of the deck and either leave it there or send it to waiting room. There's another half to the on-climax placement effect, but it requires running the level 3 Ron combo, which we are not using in this deck. Sayo's final effect is what makes her such an interesting card to use. When you trigger a Pants climax, normally you can only salvage a climax off of the Pants effect. Sayo's ability lets you choose a level 3 Yukina combo or 1-0 Roselia event counter as valid targets, instead of climaxes, which is extremely powerful. This greatly increases the lines of play that you can make with the deck, and also allows for better reactive play if you trigger too many climaxes, since you can salvage the 1-0 event and use it to mill out defensively. At level 2, I'm just using 2 counters. The first is the Yukina Memory Kick PR counter, with Memory Kick being a very useful utility against certain mid-game and finisher profiles, and the other is the Sayo Anti-Change counter from the Roselia and Poppin' Party Extra Booster. Neither of these counters are Anniversary trait, but they're both Roselia, letting them both work with the Yukina finisher. In the Tresses Collectibles gameplay video, I used a Nanami Memory Kick counter instead of the Yukina, but I would recommend using this Yukina counter if you have it, since the Roselia trait is actually relevant for the Yukina stock swap. For our early play, I run 3 copies of the Rui early play healer. She can be early played if you have 2 or less climaxes in waiting room, gains 500 for each of your back row Anniversary or Morphonica characters, and has a bit of an unusual heal effect. On play, you can discard a card to choose an Anniversary or Morphonica character from clock and heal to hand. Combined with the Sayo assist, she can reach a very respectable 12k power on both players' turns. To finish off the decklist, I run the power duo of Yukina Stock Swap and Arisa Half Fumio. Yukina Stock Swap cost is on play discard 2 Roselia characters. Again, this is why the Yukina counter at level 2 is actually important. And in addition to the stock swap itself, We also get to look at the top 2 cards of our deck and rearrange them, which is crucial for the level 3 Yukina combo, as it confirms whether or not 2 of the burn 4s will be successful. Yukina also has a damage scry ability, but ideally the turn you stock swap the opponent is the turn that you kill them, so that doesn't really come up a whole lot. Arisa is a global 1500 support to music characters, and her on-play ability is a half Fumio. By resting a music character for cost, the opponent is forced to shuffle all cards from their waiting room back into the deck, except for one climax of their choosing. Stock swap plus Fumio is of course a nasty combination if your opponent isn't watching out for them, and despite Arisa being another off-trait card, having access to this combination is simply too good not to run. Alright, let's take a quick look at which of the cards in the deck do not work with some of the other cards in the deck based on their traits. There are 5 cards in this deck that are not anniversary trait: the Yukina Riki, Yukina Counter, Sayo Counter, Hagumi Jinsu, and Arisa Half Fumio. While all of these cards can be grabbed by the Kanon Brainstorm since she doesn't check for traits, none of them can be grabbed off of the Toko Brainstorm, nor can they be healed to hand by the Rui Early Play Healer. The Riki and both of the counters are Roselia trait, so they can be grabbed by the 1-0 Roselia event, but the other 2 cards, Hagumi Jinsu and Arisa Half Fumio, cannot. This also means that the Yukina JC works with the Yukina Riki, but not with the Hagumi Jinsu, and the Yukina level 3 combo has a total of 9 possible misses in the deck: Hagumi, Arisa, and the other 7 climaxes. Hagumi, being a Hello Happy World trait character, can be shuffled back into the deck by the Hagumi level 1, while the other 4 cards can't. But let's be real, 99% of the time you're going to be shuffling back Kanon Brainstorms to use with the choice combo, or Soul Triggers just to push more damage. Alright, next let's take a look at the game plan. At level 0, since this deck doesn't run any going first plays, I will typically just open with whatever level 0 I have in my hand that isn't a Yukina Riki or Yukina JC. Unless I have 2 Rikis in my opening hand, in which case I'm perfectly okay with playing one turn 1, as I mentioned earlier. The goal going into level 1 is to have 2 copies of the Kanon level 1 combo to retain board. 3 copies is fine of course, but I don't really go out of my way to secure a 3rd copy, especially when there are perfectly good attackers outside of Kanon, such as the Hagumi level 1. Meanwhile, I use Brainstorms to speed through the deck and pick up extra cards if I hit climaxes. I'm not too worried about running low on stock, since the end game is very stock light, and if needed I can also send extra Toko Brainstorms to stock with her Act ability. When you get near the end of a deck rotation, you want to look out for the Hagumi level 1, as she can potentially net you a lot of free advantage by shuffling back Kanon Brainstorms. At level 2, you can start putting the Rui Early Plays on the board, who's fairly strong at 10,500 power, but she gets even bigger if backed up by the Sayo support, going up to 12k. Continue using Kanon combos if possible, and sculpt for your endgame by picking up Yukina level 3s off of choice climaxes or pants climaxes as long as you have the Sayo support on the board. Also look out for other helpful endgame options like the Yukina stock swap and Arisa Half Fumio if you think that they will be applicable in the current game. At level 3, the Yukina endgame is very cheap, only requiring the stock to put her into play, meaning that you can triple Yukina with just 6 stock. However, she does run the risk of whiffing top check for the burn 4 mode of her climax combo, so you're also going to want to have some way to verify the top card of your deck. Level 0 Yukina can use her on-play top check and salvage effect to look at the top card, and Sayo support's on-climax placement effect can verify the top card as well. If you go for a line that uses the Yukina stock swap, you can verify the top 2 cards that way. If you're unsure about whether or not you'll be able to hit the top check, consider going for the pseudo on reverse burn 2 instead. As far as color priority goes, the deck only has 2 colors, making it very easy to manage. Yellow is obviously prioritized first to allow us to use our level 1 combo, while blue is second to use everything else. In my opinion, the Kanon level 1 combo is actually a great target to throw into level, assuming you already have enough copies on hand to use on the board. The reason for this is that the Kanons on your board will just live turn after turn, assuming you're resolving combo, and you don't need any additional copies of the Kanon afterwards. As for the preferred blue leveling target, I like to level the Yukina Riki if possible. Next, let's take a look at some of the cards that you can look to play in English to replace some of the Japanese only cards. First, we have the level 0 Yukina. While you could just slot in the level 0 Chuchu with the same effect, she doesn't have a good trait, and as a result, a lot of cards will whiff on her. I'd recommend going with a card that natively has the anniversary trait, such as the level 0 Nanami Drop Search or level 0 Sayo Drop Salvage. Or if you want something that can filter hand without costing any stock, maybe try out a copy of the Ron level 0 from the intro deck. The other JP exclusive card in the deck is the Kokoro Refresh. While there's no direct replacement for a free refresh, I wanted to replace it with something that could offer deck speed. In the gameplay video on Tressa's, I chose to run a level 0 Tsugumi, as she offers mill with her act ability or with her alarm, which can coincidentally grab the 1-0 Roselia event. Another option you could run is the level 0 Yukina, which sends herself to memory to top check 3 and add an Anniversary or Roselia character to your hand from among them. Unlike Tsugumi, this can grab the non-Anniversary Roselia cards in the deck, but she looks at one less card. One last option I would consider in this slot is just bumping up the Toko Brainstorm to 4 copies. I also want to give a quick mention to a level 0 PR that I have yet to test with, and this is another JP exclusive PR, the new level 0 Yukina. Her effect says that if I'm at level 3, I can send her to Waiting Room to summon the level 3 Yukina combo from my hand for free, effectively letting her convert 1 card to 2 stock, which is pretty amazing, and allows me to use stock even more liberally in the mid-game than I do already. Additionally, the PR can be re-salvaged off of the 1-0 Roselia event to use multiple times within the same turn, allowing you to save even more stock. I plan to test 1 copy of this card in place of 1 copy of the Yukina JC. Alright guys, that wraps up my deck profile on Choice Pants BanG Dream. If you guys enjoyed the video or have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. If you came here before checking out the gameplay video on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, I highly encourage you to check that out if you have the time, as that game is pretty hilarious. That's all for now. This has been Randall aka Shizukats, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!